Oh, hi.
I hate it when people do that.
Oh, hi. What are you doing here?
I hate that. I really hate that. Alright, so recently I did a painting.
It's a bit like some of those other paintings that I did.
It was really just about exploring one pigment, one paint. So in this case, it's Transparent Oxide Red.
Over the last few months, I've had Transparent Oxide Red on every palette, pretty much, except from these ones where I'm just doing one colour. That's what this painting is. It's just a paper, nice paper though, cotton paper that's been primed, but it's really just a little experiment. I'm going to chat a bit about what's interesting about Transparent Oxide Red, why I like it, and why maybe you should try it too. This video is sponsored by Iron and Oxygen.
Mr. Neil Conning Painting.
So I did an experiment with PR101. That's Transparent Oxide Red. An excellent pigment, currently my most used paint, a real workhorse. I used to always use Raw Umber or Burnt Umber or sometimes Burnt Sienna. These were my browns, my warm, mucky browns that I would use. Really handy for desaturating colours and doing underpaintings and just giving everything a kind of unifying muckiness, which usually is to be avoided, but I think if you lean into it, it kind of works. The thing about some of these browns is that they are ugly. Raw Umber is kind of ugly and sicky, and I used to really lean into that ugliness. I used to say, yeah, I'm going to roll around in the mud like a pig and love it. But I have to say, as time's gone on, I've been less enjoying that muckiness. If I look at Uribe in his paintings, he makes it work. He makes it work so well. It's amazing. He begins in the mud, but somehow elevates himself out of it. And maybe I just don't have that skill as a painter. Not yet, anyway. I'm ever the optimist. Because of that, and because I've got my interest in Soroya, I wanted more chroma. And something about these Raw Umber and Burnt Umber, it just wasn't getting me there. I needed to break out of it. The other thing was the transparency. I wanted something really transparent. And somebody at some point when I was complaining about this got me onto Transparent Oxide Red. I was attracted to it because it's the colour of the real earth. You know, we call these earth tones, but this one seems like it really is. You know, when iron oxidizes, it goes that kind of warm red. Yeah, that's the Transparent Oxide Red colour. Rusted steel, clay, you know, that red tone, that's where it's coming from. And I like that there is actually a mineral link to that. You know, I think it is the iron content within the paint that gives it that colour. So that's PR101, iron. I really like that. I like that, it's really of the earth. So for this painting, what I wanted to do is really get into that and really show that colour off. So it's a real limited palette. I could have gone even more limited and only used one paint, but I wanted something to lighten it and something to darken it. I opted not to use white, and I used Naples yellow as my light, and I used ultramarine blue as my dark. But I tried not to mix the blue and the yellow. Maybe that would have made a better painting to bring the green in, but I wanted to really get into Transparent Oxide Red. Previous or regular listeners will remember back to the painting I did in the video about the one that got into the Scottish Portrait Awards. Had this kind of nice transparent shadows thing going on, and I wanted to kind of do another painting that kind of led into that to understand why that worked. So that's what this is. And it just reaffirms how much I like that transparency, that earthy, rusty transparency. I'm just kind of enamored with it. Painting itself, I think it's interesting. I think it has a vibe. I like the way I finished a lot of it with thicker pieces of paint, but I regret some of the looseness and wispy airiness that I had at an earlier stage. Also, strangely, even though the video is all about Transparent Oxide Red, I kind of obliterated it a bit too much. You know, it's nice when it's glowing there, like in the neck and some bits in the eyes, but I could have had more of that maybe. But there it is, another painting done, another studio session out the way, as I learn more about this weird thing that's oil painting.
Look, thanks for watching. If you like the painting, it is available. Check out the website in the bio, or I don't know, it's like linked, maybe it's linked in the description, but if you click about, you'll probably find it.